If you are a woman over 40 on a weight loss journey and you feel frustrated, inflamed, tired, stuck in cravings, or like your body's not responding the way that it used to, this episode is for you because sustainable weight loss is not just about eating less. It's not just about calories in and out. It's about the quality of your food. It's about what your body is being fed day after day to nourish it, and whether the foods that you're eating are helping you to heal or keeping you stuck in cravings and insatiable hunger. Today, I am sharing an interview with William Grand, who is the CEO of NutriFusion. He has been in this industry and educating people on nutrition for more than 50 years. In our conversation, we talk about the bigger picture of nutrition and health in America, why so many people are undernourished and over-consuming, and why real food matters so much when it comes to reducing cravings, supporting your health, and creating lasting behavior change. And this really matters because research on ultra-processed food is becoming harder to ignore. A big umbrella review in 2024 that was published in the BMJ looked at 45 meta-analyses with nearly 10 million people that participated. And they found that greater exposure to ultra-processed food was associated with a higher risk of adverse health outcomes like cardiometabolic disease, common mental disorders, and mortality. This is a big deal because so many women have been taught to focus only on their portion sizes, calories, and the number on the scale, while completely missing the deeper issue of what food is doing in your body. And if you're someone who wants peace with food, this conversation matters even more because peace with food comes from understanding your body. It comes from learning why ultra processed foods can keep you trapped in that cycle of hunger, cravings, and food noise. And it comes from building your life on a foundation of real food that nourishes your body and helps your brain to work with you instead of against you. There's also growing discussion in the research world around the addictive nature of ultra processed foods, especially foods that were engineered with refined carbohydrates and added fats and combinations to activate your brain's reward system with the purpose of getting you hooked on them. So, as you listen today, I just want you to listen for the bigger message. The bigger message is that your body needs nourishment. Real food matters. Food quality matters. Ingredients matter. So, let's get into today's interview with William Grant. This is the Healthy Real Food Podcast. I'm your coach, Erin Hart, a registered nurse and health coach who understands the struggle of feeling out of control around food and has walked the path of transformation. If you are a woman who feels powerless against your cravings and is ready to live your life with more energy, mental clarity, and purpose, there is hope. Here we believe that with God, a mindset of unstoppability, and consistent execution of a winning strategy, anything is possible for you. So if you're ready to find freedom from food addiction, take control of your health, and pursue your dreams with renewed energy, support, and accountability, let's go. Welcome, everyone, to the Healthy Real Food Podcast. Today, we have William Grand with us, who is the CEO of NutriFusion. And we are so excited to have you today, William.
Thank you. Looking forward to the discussion.
Yeah, so what we do here in the Healthy Real Food program is help women to change the way that they eat so that they can find peace with food in their bodies and going back to that real food nutrition. And I know that that's something that you're passionate about, William. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about NutriFusion and why you started the company.
We started the company because of an interest in nutrition, health and nutrition, and proper eating habits, which is notoriously bad in the United States. So we are focused on trying to provide an alternative or a workable way that people can get the nutrition from fruits and vegetables without having to really worry too much about getting sufficient fruits and vegetables. So what we do is we have a product that a good alternative to eating fresh fruits and vegetables, but not being as good or as powerful as fresh fruits and vegetables. But most Americans do not eat anywhere near the amount of fruits and vegetables on a daily basis. Vegetables about 3-4% of the time, and fruit about 6-7% of the time. So as a general rule, we are not even coming close to eating the amount of fruits and vegetables that we need as a country.
And why is it so important to get those fruits and vegetables in your diet?
If you think in terms of inflammation, that would be a really good start. If you don't get sufficient fruits and vegetables, it helps to cause issues with inflammation in the body. There's another 2 terms that I'm gonna throw in. It's oxidative stress and free radicals. Without adding into your diet fresh fruits and vegetables, you create inflammation and oxidative stress, which causes all sorts of chronic health issues. It's the starting point for health issues. If you start as a young child and you don't get sufficient fruits and vegetables, find all of a sudden at 40, 50 years of age, you've got all sorts of chronic diseases. It could be heart disease, could be diabetes, could be Crohn's, and the list goes on from there. So eventually, your body starts to fight back with because of all the inflammation and the opportunity for chronic diseases to find their way into your body.
Hmm. Yeah, so oxidative stress, free radicals from not eating enough fruits and vegetables can lead to those diet-related diseases.
Correct.
And
And then on the other side too is poor diet, which is too much sugar, too much fats, to alcohol. So what you're trying to do is reduce the amount of inflammation, oxidative stress, and the absolute really the only and best way to do that is by eating sufficient fruits or and vegetables or using our product as an alternative. We
right.
for example, we have one individual outside of Atlanta that has Crohn's disease, and we've been supplying him with our product for many years, and he has described it as a life changer for him because one of the problems with Crohn's disease is getting sufficient nutrition, and we supply a good alternative for him in that particular case.
Yeah, so for the people that can't eat fruits and vegetables in their whole form for some reason or don't want to, like, that seems like a good alternative to get the nutrition benefits from them. Yeah,
Correct.
because in our program, what we teach is to eat food in its whole form, in its whole natural form, the way that God made it. And because that's what helps our bodies to function optimally. And in America, in the standard American diet, like you laid out, it's so rare to be able to get all of the nutrition our bodies need, which can lead to those diet related diseases. And it's not just about looking cute in jeans, right? For me, our mission here in helping people to eat healthy and to heal their relationship with food, it's more about helping with the food chatter, the constant food chatter people struggle with, and just giving them the energy so that they can have the time to focus on the most important things in life. So I love learning about the science behind it with the oxidative stress, the free radicals. I think that if we can understand the science behind it, it can really help us with our behavior changes.
You're absolutely correct. I mean, we've all been brought up by families to eat your fruits and vegetables because it's good for you, but what we delve into is the actual reason why it's so good for you.
I think understanding the background of why this is important and how it helps us can really be motivating to people who may be struggling with making these lifestyle changes or getting the motivation to change. S So, like, what advice would you have for a woman who's over 40 and feels just powerless against their cravings, living on that dieting roller coaster, what would you find would be an important thing for them to understand?
Part of it is awareness of what's going on and why you're reacting the way you are. Ultra processed foods would cover a wide range of products such as fried foods, cereals, synthetic sweeteners, sugar. Sugar is highly, highly addictive. So the first thing that you really need to come to terms with is how to cut back on your sugar. Sugar is defined as the original gateway drug. It's really it is as addictive as nicotine if you ever got hooked on tobacco. So it's very hard to change bad eating habits. You have to work hard at it, and it's not easy. And then there's some really ultra processed foods account that whole processed food categories accounts for more deaths in the United States per year than fentanyl.
Wow.
Think about that. I mean, that is beyond scary, but it's not something that you're going to take and then immediately have a reaction. It's a process where if you keep at it, you end up with heart disease, diabetes, and all sorts of other chronic diseases. So and I'm not saying you can't digress every now and then, but recognize if, especially if you have a tendency towards sugar, that once you get back onto it, it gets hard to get rid of it.
I think that understanding that sugar is as addictive as nicotine and other drugs was so eye-opening for me. So 5 years ago, when I discovered a real food lifestyle and, like, decided to really go all in with it, and I gave up sugar and flour, that was a really hard thing for me to do because I loved those foods so much. I definitely resonate with food addiction, but when you think of drugs are just like taking a natural substance and processing them down into a fine powder, right? Like that's what they do with cocaine and heroin and all of those types of
Yep.
drugs. It's the same processing that we do with our food, with flour, with sugar, as we take the natural whole grain or the whole fruit or vegetable, and we process it down and extract it until it's a fine powder, and it's so highly addictive to our brains. It lights up that reward center of our brain and the dopamine reward center, and so no wonder it's hard to stop eating it. I remember going through like a physical withdrawal when I stopped eating sugar. I felt chills and achy, and I'd been a nurse in the hospital on the trauma floor for years, and I saw myself going through some of the same symptoms of people that were withdrawing from other addictive substances. And it was so shocking to me, but understanding that food addiction is real and these ultra processed foods really can have a strong hold on our brain, but it's so freeing. Adopting a real food lifestyle can bring so much freedom and peace.
You're 100% correct. And even things that you think might be okay, like synthetic sweeteners, and you touched on something that's been processed, and it starts off as quite often could start off as plant-based, but by the time they finish with it, it's quite detrimental to your health. So thinking synthetic sweeteners is a good alternative to sugar. It's equally as addictive, and it causes other issues as well.
Yeah, so, like, the artificial sweeteners
Yep.
that we see that are people say are healthy, they are just our brain thinks it's sugar, and it doesn't really know the difference between real sugar and artificial sweeteners. And when our brain senses the sweetness of artificial sweetener, it releases insulin into our bloodstream, which can have its own consequences. Extra insulin going through our bloodstream block the hormones that make us feel full. Not only does it light up the reward center of our brain, causing more cravings, but it also creates that insatiable hunger where we can go to the fridge and open the door and even after we ate a full meal and just keep looking for more and more.
Correct. And Americans are known as grazers. They like to snack through the day if they can.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, well, William, it's so helpful, I think, for people to just understand the science of food addiction, understanding the harm of ultra processed foods in our diet and the effect that it can have on our body. What else? Is there anything else that you would want to share with our audience today?
One of the things I would say is they need to be skeptical with what they read in the grocery store or any other retail store. A lot of the packaging that is used, it's designed to sell product. So the companies spend a lot of money on package design, and there's three components. One is you have the front of the panel, the front of the box, which they try to put their marketing information on it. And then on the back, you've got two other important pieces of information. One is the nutritional panel, which will let you know if there's any nutritional value in the product at all. And then the third part is the ingredient deck. And there you can check and see what types of ingredients are going into it. So on our product, we list literally the only thing we list are the fruits and vegetables that are used to make the our product. So there's no chemicals, no excipients. But if you can't read and understand what's in the label, probably a good thing to pass on it. It's probably got trans fats in it, sugar, even things like really obvious things like bread. Bread has sugar in it. Crackers have sugar in it. The only way you can really get away from that is if you go to a place like Europe, and you can have a much better chance of buying fresh bread without all the stabilizers to keep it from turning bad. So, a loaf of bread, it can easily in the US last 2, 3 weeks, whereas a fresh loaf of bread in Europe, for example, may last 5 days or 3 days, and it doesn't have the sugar. Sugar's found in everything, which is very, very disturbing. Mac and cheese is a good example. It's the odd treat, fine, but in university, it's not uncommon for a student to eat a whole box of mac and cheese at a time. And if you look at the back of the box, there's a serving size is very, very small. And all of a sudden, you realize I just ate that whole box and there's 10 servings in it. So be skeptical, and a lot of what you'll see on the shelf, you'll see marketing claims that are made, but they don't tell the rest of the story. They'll talk about the taste, but they won't talk about the fact that it's nutritionally dead. There's no nutritional value in it at all, and it may be very high in salt. Good example would be canned soups or bottles of juices, tomato juice and so on. And the problem the consumer has, there's all this going on, and they have not been educated by the food companies on what's good and what's bad, because almost all of them have issues. Or if they don't have it in every product, they've got it in a lot of the products they have. So the consumer and your audience really needs to be skeptical and check carefully, and try to make sure if it's ultra processed, you just run from it.
Mhm. Yeah, a good example of that is cottage cheese. Like, if you go and look at cottage cheese in the label, and there's, like, 15 or 20 ingredients in it. I love the brand Daisy because they have, like,
Yeah,
3 or 5 ingredients, right? So, the less amount of ingredients and like you said, being able to make sure you know what all of those ingredients are is so important. And, good, better, best. Best would even to choose those one ingredient foods, that are found on the perimeter of the grocery store, like your
correct.
vegetables and meat and dairy and eggs. I think that I just worry so much about our kids. I have 3 little girls. They're 13, 10, and 6. And what is so hard is sending them to school and they're just being fed all of these ultra processed foods and they get it at their friends' houses. And, I don't restrict my kids and tell them that they can or can't have anything. Like, we try to moderate and I try to teach moderation to my kids and those principles of the healthy foundation. But it is so challenging for our kids.
Yeah. Think of what happened with the tobacco companies 20 years ago or whatever it was, where they got sued by the local governments and the states. They got sued by hospitals and the medical people because of the costs that they were incurring due to the addiction of nicotine. If you look it up again, Google it, you'll find that the city of San Francisco in early December was the first city to launch a lawsuit against 11 of the largest CPG food companies in the United States. And they have a very, very strong argument. I think they'll see that lawsuit through, and it would behoove the large CPG companies that are guilty that they scramble and try to improve the quality and cut back on the salts, fats, sugars, carbs, all the things that make a product taste so good and that people get addicted on, but start to clean up their recipes and their products. Just check the ingredients.
Yeah, yeah. I was so surprised during the Super Bowl to see the realfood.gov commercial. I was like, "Oh, like, there's hope," but I feel like with 3 out of 4 Americans that are obese or overweight, it is, you know, these things are changing. The lawsuit with California against these big food companies. I hope that things can be turning around, and I wish that I would have known the things I know now when I was younger, and so, like, that's our mission here is to just spread that message of hope that nutrition doesn't have to be hard, lifestyle transformation is possible, and it's all about just incorporating those real foods into your diet from every food group, proteins, fruits, vegetables, fats, starches. In their whole natural forms is how we really can heal our bodies and our brains. William, if our audience wants to learn more about the work that you're doing, how can they get a hold of you?
Okay, our website is www.nutrifusion. It's NutriFusion.com. And it's a very information intense website. It's really to a large degree aimed at the business to business community rather than the business to consumer. But there's a huge amount of information that people can delve into. And if somebody has questions they want to ask, they can email me at wg@nutrifusion.com.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to chat with anybody.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, William, for sharing your message. It's always so validating to hear from other people in the industry that are advocates of real food and real nutrition and just how important it is. So I appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Thank you very much for having me.
So nice to meet you. We'll see you later. Thanks for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, you're going to love my coaching program. If you're struggling and want to lose weight for the last time, I can help you. Just imagine living in your goal body and having peace with food. Your success is guaranteed. To learn more about how to get support, guidance, and accountability so you can find peace with food, achieve your goal body this year, and have more energy, visit www.healthyrealfood.com. While you're there, click the link to my schedule for a free one-to-one coaching call so we can get you started on your success path. You have the power to create the life that you want. This is the year of you. I'm cheering you on. Now go win the day. You got this.